I can remember a moment living in a complete dump. I was living at the Castile Apartments. It was a dirt cheap apartment. I think it was around $350 a month. And it was off of Murfreesboro Road, across from the old Silverado Saloon, which was a place off of Murfreesboro Road where you could get a bucket of beer for $5. And no, it was all you could drink. Silverado Saloon. It was, I think it was $5 all you can drink. And yeah, long necks. Man, it was, this apartment was super rough, and it was not in a great area. And man, you know, a lot of times as a musician, you tend to try to find something inexpensive to live in, or try to live in an inexpensive place. And there are real costs to doing so, because man, you can put yourself in a bad environment around the wrong people. And man, I could tell you a particular incident where, you know, I was in this apartment one day, and you know, I heard a knock at the door, and I go to the door, and I see a guy, and he's sweating profusely, and he's real sketchy looking. And I didn't answer the door. I just kept an eye on him in the peephole, and he didn't notice that I was at the peephole. And I see him rear back to try to kick my door open. And man, that was probably the last straw. I put my shoulder into the door, and as he tried to kick, I you know, held onto the door with all my might. It didn't budge 1 inch, and that's when I, get out of here, you know, I got the loud, scary voice, and he ran off. He took off. But you know, it's moments like that. And then there was another incident. There was a guy living at the apartment down the hall, and he saw me going in my apartment with a guitar. He's like, "Oh man, you play guitar? I play guitar too. Why don't you come by?" You know, so I come by, and I had noticed he had this girl that would come in and out of his apartment every day. And I started to see that same girl out walking the street on Murfreesboro Road looking for dates. And this poor guy had, you know, he had a couple of guitars. He had a couple old Ibanez guitars, and he worked a day job, and he had befriended this girl who was a worker, let's put it that way. And, you know, he gave this girl a place to stay. She would come in and out. But, man, it was an incredibly sad story, because, you know, he cared for this person a lot, and she was out working the streets. And it's moments like that, and realizing where you are, and realizing you've got to get out of these old places, these toxic places, toxic people, old dreams, and regrets. This video is the art of letting go. Toxic people, old dreams, and regrets. And, you know, that reflective moment, looking back at that old crappy apartment, man, because at the same time, I had bad friends at the time that were coming and going in my apartment, showing up at all hours of the day. And I had to just tell them, man, You can't just show up here unannounced. And you have to learn to let go of toxic people, old dreams, and regrets. The realizing that you may have bad influences in your life, even if they're your friends, sometimes it's better for you both to separate. That's the reality. We all have to go on our own journey, and we all have to find a way through tough times. And sometimes you're just better on your own, and that goes for them as well. When one guy wants to rest, the other guy wants to party, and vice versa. And you know what? It's better sometimes to just let those things go. It can be hard to let people go. It can be hard to to clear out people in your life, because, man, you can often be faced with having zero friends. But if you've got the wrong friends at that time, and people that are not a good influence on you, you're better off just going forward alone. The relief and freedom that you feel after making a decision like that, to prioritize your well-being. That's what you've got to decide. Prioritize your own well-being so that you can make steps to improvement. Now, look, I had an old dream, and I wanted to be a rock star, and I went out to the Sunset Strip, and I did all that. And you know what? That dream didn't come true. And that was something that I focused on in my younger years. And then when I moved to Nashville, I realized, hey, I just want to make money playing my guitar. And that's a little bit more of a realistic goal. So it's important to make realistic goals for yourself. Don't say, I'm going to be the world's biggest rock star and continue on that path when it's giving you failure after failure. And, one of the things that saved me was that I was able to play a lot of different types of music. So that made me more able to go and work with different people doing different things. And realizing that the rock and roll, a rock star dream wasn't really a reality was a matter of kind of growing up at that time. Now, the struggle of accepting some goals may not be realistic. It can be a struggle to realize that, hey, things aren't going to exactly work out the way that you wanted them to. And realizing these things and having the courage to let go. Having the courage to let go of unrealistic dreams. Man, that can be a tough one, man, because it takes a lot of courage to change in life. It takes a lot of courage to realize, hey, I gotta go in a different direction here. And that can be a scary thing, man. Not always following the same path. What do they say? And I've said this repeatedly on this channel. If you're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, that is insanity. That is absolute madness. And you know what? It takes great courage to try something new. Releasing those old dreams can open up the door to new opportunities and personal growth. Realizing that, you're not going to become a rock star, but maybe you can become a professional musician, or maybe you can be a songwriter, or maybe you can be a producer, or maybe you can be a teacher. Man, it takes a lot to realize those things and then act on them. Let go of your regrets. We all have tons of regrets and wish we'd have done this and wish we hadn't done this at this time and all those things. Look, I've had many regrets, and I could have sleepless nights every night thinking about what I could have done different and choices that I made. And, man, in this conversation, I should have said this and this and that. Man, you've got to learn to take those things and just forget about it. Because if you focus on the past, you're not going to have a clear path forward. And that is the reality of life, man. We could all sit around and lay in bed all day and bemoan the past, but we're ignoring the future and the fact of you get up each day, and each day is a new chance to succeed. The benefits of letting go: you get peace and you get clarity. And that comes with releasing the negativity and embracing simplicity. Letting go will improve your relationships, creativity, and overall happiness. Now, my advice for everybody watching this video, always evaluate your own life and identify what you might need to let go of, whether it's people, habits, or old expectations. Practical steps to doing this, set boundaries, write down your ideas, old school journaling, getting a notepad out and making some changes or writing some things that you want to change. When I would hit the lowest points in my life and I would have no work, or I would have, need something or whatever, man, I would get a pen and a piece of paper out and write down some things. Hey, I can call this guy tomorrow. Here, I can do this. What if I do this? And I would make a list of positive things. Make a list of 5 positive things that you can do to change your situation, whether it be letting go, getting out of this relationship, or, calling, about this job opportunity, or, getting the newspaper. Back in the day, we'd get the newspaper and go through the want ads. All of those things can be something to start you on a positive path forward. And look, if you've got trusted friends or professionals that you can reach out to, you know what? Always reach out to them. We all have that one friend that's level-headed and shakes their head at us when they hear of all the knuckle-headed stuff that we do in life. And you know what? Reach out to them and say, hey, I'm ready to make a change. Or if you've got somebody professional that you could reach out to and they can help you, man, you know what? Go ahead and do it. Put that on your list of things to do. Now look, letting go is not about giving up. Letting go of a rock star dream is not meaning that you're not going to make it in music. It's not going to mean that you can't do something positive with your music and you can still keep the dream alive, but you've got to shift the direction. I never thought that I would play in a country group and tour, with a country artist and have country records on my wall. But you know what? I changed the dream of being a rock star and realized, hey, music is just music. It doesn't matter what I'm playing. It's just a matter of, taking an opportunity and doing the best that you can in that opportunity. And certainly in that opportunity, there were moments where I got to rock. You know what? Country music is not the same as it was. It's not my grandma's music anymore. So by trying different things and going in a different direction, I was able to fulfill my dream in a different way. So the reality is, you can enrich your life and offer hope to yourself and hope to your dreams, because a lot of us out there are struggling with similar decisions. What do you do in life? You've got to identify the factors that are holding you back and make changes to eliminate them. Make changes to your life. If you're in a bad relationship, you know what? Get out of it. If you've got friends that are bringing you down, you're going to have to set up boundaries. And you know what? By doing this, you can achieve your goals, just maybe in a different way. You don't have to give up the dream of making it in music, but you may have to change what that goal actually is, how you define it, and where you're going to go forward. I hope this talk has helped people out there. And if it has, let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching.